Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're conducting a HCMC stock forecast and how I believe that the route to $1 for this company has now changed. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then do please smash the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in there. Hey guys, welcome back into this HCMC stock forecast. As you can see, over the last day of trading, the company literally barcoded all the way along with some quite high volumes coming in towards late in the trading. And then that has been replicated over the last 5 or so days as well, because we haven't really seen a great deal of news from the company or the court case itself. I mean, the last major piece of news registered on Yahoo Finance is the launch of its official Twitter feed. Now, on to the main point that I wanted to make about this video is I'm seeing an awful lot of YouTube channels and commentators saying that this company will hit $1 a share because of an acquisition by Philip Morris. Now, why on earth would Philip Morris announce that sort of thing in the middle of a court case for a start, and then because they're going to want to try and get away with not patent infringing and paying up that sum? And then secondly, why would they do it now after all the hype around the company? I mean, this company is now one of the most well-known and most talked about stocks on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. This company is now well talked about, and news spreads instantly. So any such news that Philip Morris was going to do that would send the share price through the absolute roof. I mean, average volume is already ridiculous, and the year-to-date trend is already up 1400%. So why on earth would they do that to themselves and pay an awful lot of money for what is at the moment essentially a company that's turning over $15 million a year, which is fantastic, great fundamentals about it? But why would they pay even more than the $495 million that the company's market cap already is, or even half of that, to gain a controlling majority? Institutional investment just isn't there at the moment. There's Finemark holds 10 million shares. The main direct holders here are the board of directors, essentially. You've got Jeff Holman there with 12 billion shares. The chances of Philip Morris purchasing this company or announcing that they're going to purchase this company, and that's effect on the share price, pretty much rules it out, in my opinion. I mean, financially the company is doing pretty good. There is a little dip in the revenue that we saw in 2020 down to 13.9 here from 15 the last year, but that is because of the global pandemic. The company before then is growing nicely on trend. I just can't see why you would want to, the company would want to buy that much of HCMC at the current price. The chance to do that has long since been and gone. The company's sitting on a nice little bit of cash as well, but that has trended downwards as well. So they're waiting big time for potentially all the eggs are in one basket for the patent infringement damages that would come from HCMC. Now, I personally believe that that is going to be the cheapest option for Philip Morris, is just to pay that off and get that squared away, get that sorted, and then they could potentially let the excitement die away from the stock, and then they could potentially look to acquire. But at the moment, this is just the wrong time for Philip Morris to do anything like that. Now, the route to $1 for me is simply by HCMC reverse splitting their stock to bring the value up that way, but that doesn't return a great deal of value for investors. And then the other way is to use money from the Philip Morris damages to buy back their own shares and retire as many of them as physically possible to bring value and return value to investors that way, because that is the only route that, in my opinion, is going to work. The other way of doing it with the potential acquisition is just going to be too expensive for Philip Morris to do. Now, I understand that Philip Morris has a huge amount of cash on hand. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, but they've got to realise what they're paying, what ultimately they're going to be paying for. HCMC's intellectual property is very, very valuable, but it is quite a small business. It turned over $15 million in revenue, but it is valued at $450 million at the moment, which is quite high. As you can see, it is many times its earnings. In fact, it's about 40 times earnings at the moment. And for a company that's not a tech company and hasn't got a great deal of cash, that is quite a lot. So I am very bullish on HCMC. Do not get me wrong, I'm not slandering the company at all. I'm just saying the chances of it going to $1 through acquisition means are said and done. Can't happen that way, in my humble opinion. There's some great opinions on Twitter to go and have a look at. I mean, this guy here, Yuskin Trade and Blog, did a very nice piece here to announce like what his plans are. This company has got fundamentally some really good sectors to it, but thinking it's a bit of a pipe dream to think that it's just going to get to $1 on its own, like overnight or in the next couple of months or so, or $1 through being acquired by HCMC, by Philip Morris should I say. HCMC is going to get to $1 by growing its core business outright, winning the court case, buying back shares and reverse splitting its stock, and then stepping up onto the Nasdaq and uplisting onto the Nasdaq stock exchange properly. That is when you can see $1 a share and some significant growth in the share price. But that is an awful long way away, and the company's got a long time ahead of it, a lot of work ahead of it to be able to achieve that. Now, we had the motion to the joint motion to extend deadline. That had happened, that got carried, and we're now waiting for the answer to the motion to dismiss on the 22nd of March. That's not too far away, and then Philip Morris gets to reply on the 16th of April. So the timeline now is quite spread out. So we're not going to get the motion to dismiss. I would expect to get dismissed by the judge, and I expect that the next date that we'll be waiting for is the 16th of April, where we'll see the reply come in from Philip Morris. So the timeline is spreading out. I wouldn't expect to see a major amount of movement in the share price between now and then. That is quite volatile, but if 10-20% either way is about all that I would expect to see, unless something else major drops. HCMC is doing their best to get their way out into the media field. I mean, they're offering the Q Cup offer here that was spotted on Twitter, which is really good, trying to get their product out there for free, which is fantastic. I mean, this is the little coupon on the little post here. Really great way. I mean, if you can get your products out there for free and then get people returning and get that reoccurring revenue, that's absolutely fantastic, and that is a really good ploy by HCMC, I believe. But the route to $1 has to be the other way, using the capital that they get. But there is risk there, because if they don't win this court case, and I believe that they will, but I'm just saying the risk is very present that if they don't, then the capital for this business to expand and take its route towards a penny a share, 10 cents a share or $1 a share is ended right there. Fundamentally still a strong business, and you'll probably still get a decent return from it over the coming quarters and years ahead, but the big leaps that we would expect by the capital that they would get from Philip Morris just would fizzle out and disappear. I don't think that's going to happen personally. I think that we're going to get a hefty return from Philip Morris, a hefty damages payout, probably out of court, I think, but that again remains to be seen. But I think Philip Morris would rather go that way about it, pay up that, and that will cost them far less than acquiring the company, because the moment they do that, that's when the share price would leap to a whole new level, and I just don't think that that's possible, and I don't think anybody at Philip Morris would do that. Plus there would also be the essentially a clash of what's going on, so a clash of interests, because on the one side you've got HCMC who's suing Philip Morris, and then you've got Philip Morris trying to acquire HCMC. It just wouldn't work. There'd be definitely a conflict of interest there for sure. Do not get me wrong with this one. I am very bullish about this company. I'm confident they will get a payout from Philip Morris, and I'm confident in their business model going forward. I just want to clarify that Philip Morris acquiring HCMC, to me, and it is only my opinion, is off the table at the moment, because the company is just too viral, too out there, too well known now, and what they would get in return for their money, they could probably easier just pay HCMC off in damages for far less. That's just my humble opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, guys. If you could smash the like button on your way out, it's always a pleasure to see you. I'll catch you in the next episode. See you later.